Medical device clinical trials are designed to generate clinical evidence on a device's performance, safety, and intended clinical benefit in people. This may sound similar to a drug trial, but the planning questions can be very different. A wound dressing, a diagnostic platform, a surgical tool, and an implant do not create the same questions. Each device has its own intended use, risk profile, user setting, and claims that the study may need to support. A clear starting point is confirming that the product is being regulated as a medical device, then define the exact claims the evidence is expected to support. Those claims influence the rest of the program, from endpoint selection and follow-up through to site, requirements oversight, and how the device will be used during the study. One important difference from drug development is that devices can evolve through controlled refinements. A drug's composition is usually fixed by the time it reaches clinical testing. A device may still be refined around usability, engineering, manufacturing, software, or procedure. This makes version control and traceability essential. Endpoints can also look different. Clinical outcomes may still be central, but device trials may also need to assess whether the device performs as intended and can be used consistently in the intended setting. A device may work as intended from an engineering point of view, while the study still needs to show that clinicians or users can use it safely in the real care setting. Device development is often staged around the maturity of the product and the next decision. Early clinical work may focus on whether the device appears safe, performs as expected, and can be used as intended. Feasibility work may then help refine the study design, including the procedures, patient selection, training approach, and data capture before a more formal pivotal study. Skipping those early checks can create problems later. For example, in an interventional device study, a feasibility phase might show that the visit schedule is workable, but investigator training lacks detail and procedural variation is wider than expected. For a software-enabled device collecting repeated measurements, early use may reveal inconsistent uploads, timestamp issues, or instructions that users interpret differently. These details can affect endpoint reliability and data quality. Classification also influences planning from the beginning. Since classification reflects risk, it affects how closely the study is scrutinized, what evidence is expected, and how tightly the study needs to be controlled. Lower risk products may rely more on performance data, existing evidence, or literature. Higher risk or implantable devices may need longer follow-up to understand safety, durability, and longer-term performance. Once the study is live, operational control becomes critical. Recruitment may depend on anatomy, procedure suitability, disease stage, or access to specialist settings. If the device involves an invasive procedure, the consent process needs to clearly explain both the clinical intervention and the investigational element. Device accountability should be treated as part of the study data story. Sites need to know what they received, where it was stored, who used it, which participant received which device, and what happened to unused or returned units. Weak accountability logs or missing identifiers can quickly create traceability problems that affect how safety is reviewed, how data is interpreted, and how the study stands up to inspection. Medical device trials work best when the study design reflects the actual product, the risk profile, and the setting in which the device will be used. Strong evidence depends on clear endpoints and careful control of the investigational device throughout the study, supported by traceability, site execution, and documented oversight. To learn how Quanticate can support your next trial, email inquiries@quanticate.com or request a consultation through our website. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical insights on clinical trials and modern drug development.